A very good afternoon to everyone and all the, I would say, all our Body, Mind, Soul Live Talk viewers. Welcome to Body, Mind, Soul Live Talk once again. And this is our number 91. And we are going to talk about, are you narcissistic? First of all, I would like to say or ask any one of you, do you know or do you understand the word narcissistic or narcissism? Have you ever heard about it? You know what? For me, I need to search the dictionary to truly understand. I wouldn't say I truly understand, but to understand at certain point what narcissism is all about, what is narcissistic. So if you are curious about what is narcissistic and whether are you or are you not a narcissistic, today and this afternoon, the sunshine afternoon in Kuala Lumpur, we are going to have our guest all the way from Europe to talk about this, and I'm sure he himself will give us lots of different insights. But before, I welcome our guest to come in and share with us, what he have learned and what kind of things or traits or personality that he can let us know whether are we or are we not, are we surrounded with narcissistic. Before that, let me just share with you a little bit about Body, Mind, Soul. So we have started off since 2014, and this is coming to our 8th year of being here in the market or in the community to continuing our service, our mission or our intention to impact life positively. And one of the things that we did is to publish our magazine. It's a quarterly magazine, and we have just released it, I wouldn't say just, but last month, volume 32, The Mystical Light. You can get it for free as long as, you just need to register yourself as a Body, Mind, Soul community member. You can read the entire collections on volume 1 until volume 32 for free, all right? And also, this live talk is live simultaneously on YouTube as well as Facebook. You can do one thing, SNL, like and share this live talk out if you feel along the way, you feel, hey, this is something interesting. I might want to tag my friend to join. Be free, be my guest to tag everyone. And if you find that, Christina is quite a happy-go-lucky person and you want to send me some love, you can pop out in the comment chat box and send me all the love that you have. I will also send it back to you by pyong back all the love to you, all right? Who doesn't want love, right? Who doesn't want it? I don't mind. The more, the merrier. All right, so I'm going to have Pascal all the way from Europe to talk about narcissistic. So, but before that, I just want to ask you, do you know what kind of trait? From our caption, we actually written here, inflated sense of self-importance, extreme need for attention, blatant disregard for the feelings of others. Have you ever met someone like that? Or are you yourself one of them? Through my pre-discussion with Pascal, I have a jing moment because I realized, hey, Christina Teng is quite narcissistic as well at certain level. So I'm going to be very open. I'm going to throw a lot of questions to Pascal. And then we're going to have lots of fun in this afternoon. And we wish that this fun and also at the same time, we're going to talk about something that I believe hardly been discussed in our Asia culture, right? And this is interesting as well. So without further ado, put your palms together and will help me to welcome Pascal Dricot all the way from Europe over here to join us this afternoon. Pascal, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Thanks a lot also for inviting. Thanks a lot for the introduction. I already love it.
I mean, I have to be honest and kind of like confess. As I shared with you, I'm so excited, and I was like having an eye-opening session on the pre-discussion for our live talk. I'm like, wow, so this is actually what it is. Wow, that is actually what it is. Oh no, this is a trait that I have as well. So Pascal, before we go into deeper of this or going in right into that, having more fun, maybe you can explain to our audience or people like me who need to Google search or search the dictionary about the word narcissistic/narcissism. Now, why don't we start from this here first?
Yeah, very good, thanks. So yeah, narcissism is actually, it's a self-centered personality style, right? So it's about the person who actually has a lot of interest in themselves, wants to have a lot of attention, their own needs in the first place. Now it comes a little bit to a tricky point, because actually everyone has some narcissism inside, what you mentioned before as well. The moment that you actually say from I do it for myself, I do it for a kind of a self-love, I do it because I respect myself, you could say this is actually a kind of a narcissism. But it's always like in life, it's about, is it balanced? Is it not balanced? Is it something you're greedy for? You need to have like 24/7. If it's something that you want to take and not want to give on a certain moment? Or is it something where you say from, oh, for now, I respect this person, I love this person, so I'm going to change a little bit for that person. And on the other side, another moment, I'm going to say, no, for me, it's much more important that I really stand up for myself. And this is, of course, this is a natural behavior. So that's why they categorize it also in different groups, right? So that's why they put narcissists as, you can have it as a personality disorder. And if it's a disorder, if it's really something on a level where, on a social way, on a collective way, that you actually are not in a standard way anymore, then it becomes really an issue, right? And that's why it's also classified. It's classified in the ICD, so in the International Classification of Diseases, yeah, or in the American, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, so the DSM, or the ICD-11. So it is mentioned there, and mostly they have like different categorizations, and they say, yeah, and also like points, and they say like, if you have like 5 of 8 of these points, then you are diagnostic as this as a it's like a disorder, right? So, but that is then of course a different thing. For me, it's not important at the moment if someone has this personality disorder or not. It's about finding out, does someone has kind of characteristics? How does it affect me, and how I can actually change myself, and how I can realize that I'm dealing with this kind of a personality, rather than saying, putting someone in a basket and saying, oh, you have a personality disorder, right? So it's like a thin line. It's like, but it's actually important to find out more, because it will help you. It will make you much more happier once you know what you're dealing with,
what
and why you're dealing with. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you look at narcissists, I mean, you have 7 subtypes. So you have complete different types. We go a little bit in later on that as well. But you have really different types, and it does not always mean that someone wants to be in the picture by showing off, right? Like a grandiose type or malignant type. You have other types, like the cover type. They even can be depressed. They even can be sitting at home, right? But they are still narcissists, because they're still wanting to have an attention, but on another kind of a way.
Okay, so this is quite a long explanation about narcissistic and narcissism, yeah. But here again, me and Pascal, we are here today, and Pascal and I, we are here today. It's not about to categorize or to kind of like conclude whether it is a good or a bad thing. It's more about creating an awareness for everyone, including myself as a host today, having this discussion with Pascal. And you know what? And we wish that, you know, to also give that solution, or there's always something that we can do about if we notice certain traits or certain personality. But before we go into about, you know, the sub 7 or whether or not we are going to it, I'm not sure. But let's have a discussion first. Pascal, you know, when you talk about narcissism or creating this awareness of narcissistic, right? You have such a passion that I can feel about it. Can I know what is the drive behind you wanting to create an awareness, wanting everyone to be more aware of such a personality or situation that we are in?
Yeah, I mean, looking at my past in the chat, right? So in the childhood, I was bullied, and I was actually, as an adolescent, I was an introverted IT nerd. So I had to climb up, or I wanted to climb up the career ladder, and I had to learn to speak up. I had to learn to observe. I had to learn to really grow in my communication. And then because I don't want to hurt someone else, because I am very sensitive, I was then also attracting, as an empath, I was attracting quite often also narcissistic types. And I had to really, because the higher you also go in management position, the more you deal with C-levels, the more chance you have that you actually are dealing with a narcissist manager, right? I'm not saying every manager is a narcissist. This is not what I'm saying. But looking at some tests that they did, it's actually, they can say like there is more, compared with average, there is 5 times more chance that you meet a narcissist if this person is a manager as not. Because a narcissist as is has some, let me say, positive things which makes the person be able to grow on a certain ladder, right? So
and very what do you call that? It's very, they are very attractive.
Yeah,
somehow.
Yeah.
Charismatic. Yeah, I was searching for the word. Thank you. It was at the tip of my tongue. So yeah, thank you, Pascal. Please continue.
Yeah, so I mean, they have, like you said, the charismatic. Then secondly, depending the type, but some of the subtypes, they are very obsessive to reach the goals. So they can reach the goals, whatever the goal is. So if they are obsessive by reaching the goal in profit or in increasing the turnover, then it can take a while before the company is seeing that you're actually dealing with a narcissist, because everyone is praising this person because this person is making that the company, that there is more turnover, right? So there are a lot of things actually which going in the background. Anyway, because I saw that a lot of my colleagues, a lot of managers, a lot of persons, including myself, were actually unhappy in the working place, I was thinking, this cannot be the reality. Why is that? And that's why I was searching myself, and I wasn't finding, through the golden space, through some retreats and through personal development, I wasn't finally finding myself. And I was able then also to have a complete different communication with different personalities, including narcissists. And even after that, we still encountered another narcissist which triggered us quite a lot in the last years. And it's only then which I could put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And what I want, or what I wish, is that that I can bring some aha moments to the audience, that I can bring also from, oh yeah, that's why. But also on the other hand, that I can really give some practical information and some tips from, okay, how you really can deal with them and how you can protect yourself. And that's it. For actually being a much more in the flow and much more in peace with yourself and with everyone else, right? And then automatically your communication will change, right?
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. And I would like to welcome all the audience, right? If you have any question or along the conversation, something that pops up in your head and you wanted to chat with Pascal, or you wanted to just ask Pascal or just comment or give your own insights as well, you know what, Body, Mind, Soul, me and Pascal, we really, really welcome you to drop your message. And we have our audience here, so important to be aware of this. And our Master Umesh, hello Pascal family, Christina and family, lots of love and hugs. Happy Saturday. Pyong 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 back to you, Master. Thank you, Master. And Pascal, in your the conversation just now, you did mention, and oftentimes empath attracts narcissistic easily. Before I ask you why so, can you explain a little bit what is empath in your own context?
Okay. An empath is a person who actually wants to help other persons. An empath is a person who feels a lot, who actually is very open. And they are attracting, an empath mostly also put themselves on the second place. And by helping others is actually want to give something to others. quite often empaths also don't want to be in the picture as is. They are more on the background. So this is why they are attracting actually narcissists, because they are seeing things from narcissists where actually they wish they also have. Or like if you are a person who wants to give and you have another person who wants to take, it's like the ideal combination. The one want to take, the other want to give. And that's why you, on the first place, you actually are attracting yourself. But of course, if you keep doing that, then on a certain way, it's going to be becoming an imbalance. And that can be that narcissist going to start making misuse of you. And you then coming in a spiral where you go down and down. And at a certain moment, you have no idea anymore, right? So it's also like, because you want to give, you want to do things because you see the positive things in people, you trust people. Of course, someone who feels that can make a disadvantage of it. You can say from, oh, that's cool. I'm dealing here with a person who whatever I say, gonna believe me, whatever I'm asked, gonna do for me. So it's like ideal. I call sometimes them an ant, right? So I found a new ant who's just gonna work for me, right? And I can do whatever what I want to. Yeah. So that's why there's always an attraction. But as we know, as we learn and as we grow in our personal development, we also know that there is a lesson. And actually there is a lesson for both of us. There's a lesson for the empath, that the empath needs to say, okay, stop, and set clear borders. That the empath needs to say, no, I'm not always giving. I'm also I'm worth to also take. I'm also worth to say to receive. Yes. On the other hand, it also goes to the narcissist, where the narcissist also get triggered and should change himself. I say should because it depends the level. Again, like I said in the beginning, everyone has a narcissism a little bit inside, right? But if
perhaps Pascal, you can share a little bit some of the characteristics of a narcissistic, since we are on this context.
Okay, so so that depends the subtype, right? But if you talk about the ones who are the most obvious ones, okay, characteristics are always the same in that way, that they need attention. So they need to be admired. They need that everyone is looking at them and that they actually are in the picture on a kind of a way. But again, why is that? Because very deep inside, they have a very low self-esteem. So they are not strong and they are very hurt. They are searching. They are searching. You said at the beginning, love, right? So they are searching for the love. They are searching for actually the emotions. And they also have a lack of emotions. They have a lack of empathy, the narcissist, right? And why is that? Because it can be very different reasons. Mostly it's between an age of 2 and 4 years where things happen. And again, because it's such a broad topic, the reasons why can also be differently. It can be that you are abused physically, psychologically, as a child. Does not mean that if you were abused that automatically you're a narcissist. I'm not saying that. Yeah. But it can be that because you are abused that you become narcissistic. It also can be that you became too much attention, that you became no clear boundaries, so that the parents always let you do everything and everything was fine. At that time, you will think then that whatever you do, it's fine. So I can do whatever I want, right? It has different things. It can be that your parents were also manipulative. It can be that the mother was talking bad about your father. Then you're gonna learn from, okay, everyone is a competitor. It can be that your parents were pushing you to always go to the next step, or explaining you always how important it is to move forward, to have a lot of money, to be successful. All this kind of patterns from the parents can lead to certain narcissism, depending again the subtypes. So at the end, to summarize, the person as is actually always on the search, and is very, on a certain way, is very wounded. Now, let me explain a little bit, so maybe you then also can understand. Again, definitely with grandiose, with malignant types, what's happening. You imagine that you have a finger who is broken. Okay. So you have a broken finger. At the end, it's not the fault of someone else. Let's now say that it's not the fault from someone else that you broke your finger, right? Because you broke yourself your finger. All right. So you meet someone, and this person is very enthusiastic and is talking to you, and suddenly this person is touching your finger, just your finger who is broken. Then at that moment, you as a person gonna say, why the hell have you touched that finger? From all my body parts that I have, why have you touched this? And maybe you're going to be very angry at that person because you have a lot of pain because of this finger is broken, right? And someone else is just by little touch is actually hurting you a lot. So you're going to be the person who's broken the finger, most probably going to be in a victim mode. Going to say, why the hell now happens to me again that this person is touching my finger? He's maybe going to be aggressive. Going to say from start yelling because you touched my broken finger, has a lot of pain. So this is actually what's happening with narcissists on an emotional level. That means that they are very wounded. They have a lot of deep emotions with a lot of pain. And without you noticing as a person, you are touching one of the parts which is like broken. And by just a little bit touching it, you are actually creating sometimes a whole escalation. And you are standing there saying, whoa, what's happening? I just mentioned like one phrase and this person is ticking out. This person is freaking out. And you don't know why it happened because actually your attention was not a negative one. You just wanted to say something, right? And the interesting part is with the narcissist, you can imagine that each day maybe they have broken something else. So at a certain level, you don't know anymore what you can say. And it's like always a surprise how they will react. Whatever you say, it can be that they're freaking out. It can be that they're not reacting. So it's always a question from how this person will react, right? And it's always the same because they are so wounded that for them, one of the most important things is not showing the emotions, not showing that they have weaknesses. Because they learned in a childhood that they should not be weak. So they cannot show a certain weakness.
You know, as you are sharing, I just can't stop having a person in my mind. So you did mention on a statistics point of view that I've forgotten how many percentage of management levels or managers, most of them have certain traits of narcissism, right? So this particular ex-manager that I used to deal with, oftentimes when I work with this person, I question myself whether have I given my best. Even though inside me, I kind of know, hey, but I really have given my best. But this person continue pressuring me, questioning me. So I have a thought like, oh, perhaps, this person has a good intention that wanted me to improve, wanted me to be better. Since he or she knows better than me, that this person has more experience in this field that I'm talking about, perhaps I need to learn. So I continue to swallow. I stop questioning. It's like I stop asking, oh, is it that person problem or it's my problem? I just continue to take in, and then up to a point, I feel like, hey, I thought my stress level endurance is really high. I can take on stress and I I'm the type that I can transform the stress into something positive that will motivate me to move forward. But while working with this ex-manager, it just made me feel like, where is my stress level endurance anymore? Like, I can't handle stress anymore. Everything that I've done is like, why did you do it this way? Why didn't you do it that way? Why are you you even use the word stupid? Why can't you do better? Why didn't you see it ahead? So inside me, Pascal, I was like, if you already know, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you point it out at first? Why you wait until that accident happened? Then you told me that you have foreseen and you are expecting me to make mistakes. Wow, Pascal, that made me even feel even worse. Up to a point, I realized I don't think I can work. I don't think I can. I feel it's kind of becoming more and more toxic. And that is when I decided I feel I need to take a break from whatever that's doing. So, Pascal, is it normal for in a workspace encounters, let's put it this way, that oftentimes we have something like this happen, we thought it is our problem because we do not have the awareness of narcissism or narcissistic characteristics?
Yeah. I mean, as mentioned before, narcissists, they have a low self-esteem. So that means that they actually want to pull everyone down. So they want to suppress everyone around them because they see actually that someone has a great value. They see that someone is actually very good, but they don't like that because they're comparing themselves the whole time. And for them, everyone is like a certain, again, it's a competitor. It's like a whole competitive environment. For them, it's like everyone is a threat. So they want to suppress everyone as much as possible. So what they do is that what they love to do is, because they need as an energy, either they want that you admire them, that you give compliments to them, then they are happy because they can have this energy. Or what they also want is that they want that you becomes unstable. So it doesn't matter what kind of emotions that you have, as long as you have emotions in front of them, either positive emotions for them or negative emotions for yourself because you get frustrated and whatever it's going to feed them. It's going to give them energy. Because, again, they are a lack of empathy. So they have a lack of emotion. So for them, it's they don't distinguish between good or the bad. It's for them like having food. Both is food for them. So they're just searching for the food. And on purpose, they're going to, of course, try to make you unstable. Because the moment you are unstable, you lose power. The moment you lose power, they can have control. Because for them, it's all about the controlling game. It's all about being the powerful one. That's why they are very good in creating the new steps in advance. They are very strategical on this way. They are very good in manipulation to others as well. Because one of the things that they cannot stand is oneness. Because why? If you are together with a group and you start discussing with each other, then sooner or later you will find out quite fast that this person is talking behind the back to everyone, right? If you're like in a group of 10 people, and then suddenly someone is saying like, X is talking bad about you. And then the 9 other people are saying, yeah, X is also talking bad about you. Yeah, X is talking bad about you. And then say, yeah, but X is also talking bad about you and you and you. And then you found out with the 9 people from, hey, this X is talking bad about every one of us together, right? So this person wants to avoid that comes out. So how can you avoid this, that people will talk with each other? Well, that's easy. The thing is that you try to put them away.
Separate.
That means that separation.
Separate them. Yes.
That means that you're going to talk, you're going to manipulate everyone. So everyone's get a bit skeptic from the other one. So you reduce,
oh my God.
You reduce the amount. You reduce the amount that they talk with each other. And they also want this, they want this war. They want actually this instability in the whole working flow. They don't want to have a cozy environment, a healthy, beautiful environment, because then you grow again. If you're in a healthy, beautiful, peaceful environment, you get empowered. They don't want that you get empowered because they want to have the power. So by discourage everyone, by putting some little things inside where everyone starts to be skeptical, then actually they have control about everyone, individual.
That's so true.
And they can do it very
classy. I would say in a very classy way. So Pascal, as you are sharing this incident, I just recall one of the things that happened between me and my ex-manager. So what happened was this ex-manager, asked me out for a lunch, and it was over the lunch, right? And that time I was very naive, and I'm very young, still very new I'm just talking about workspace context, a workspace context. So I'm very young, very naive. And at the same time, of course, I look up and I admire the capability of my ex-manager, because there are so many things I can learn from this ex-manager, deep down from a very honest heart, right? So over the conversation of that lunch, and this lunch until today, it still serves as a mystery inside my head, because I was like, I just got to know a very good supplier, right? In the industry, I just got to know a very good supplier. But somehow this ex-manager was just asking me, so how is it? You get along with the supplier? How is it? Is it good for you? I said, yeah, I enjoy our conversation. We have some common traits, and we just said, you know what? We might be hanging out for some coffee, in a few days later. Somehow this ex-manager just told me, you got to be careful. This supplier is quite manipulative. You will never know what is the supplier's true intention of asking you out to have a cup of tea. And because of that point of view, and because of this ex-manager is someone that I admire, of course, I buy into that conversation, and I distance myself with the supplier. So as you were saying, I was like jumping. Wow. Even until today, I was still wondering, why did we even have that conversation? Because I just got to know the supplier. Why did we even have that? So Pascal, coming back to this, what are the questions that we can ask someone that we feel perhaps is having a little bit of narcissistic characteristics in that? So what are the questions that we can ask to ask them to help us to find out, the situation, to have more clarity so that we can deal it. It might not be, in my context, it's a work environment that I have experienced it before. What if it's a relationship? A romance relationship? What if that person is my partner? So what are the questions that we can ask?
Okay, before we come to the questions, it even goes further. I would say, how can you actually observe and having like a kind of, I would call it a red flag from, something is very suspicious.
Yeah. Okay.
And let's stick to the relationship, right? So, like, again, a narcissist person gonna try to find out for them. Having a conversation, it's like having an interview. Again, because they don't have a lot of emotions, so their lack of emotions on a certain way, right? Lack of empathy. So for them, it's like finding out for each person they meet. Can I in
gathering
the future
information?
Can I in the future make some abuse of it? Can I in the future use this person, or how is this person, right? So in a relationship, if a first date, it can be, so they always try to find out. It can be that on one of the strategies they're doing is they give you at the beginning a compliment, but an extreme compliment. It can be that they say, I never met someone like you in my life. So they're gonna overreact it. I mean, they see you like 10 minutes and they're gonna give you a compliment like you're the princess on the white horse. Really? Or, I mean, normally it's a prince on the white horse, but you know what I mean. So
Yes.
they're gonna raise you up like you're the one, right? So if you're not reacting on that, it can be that you're very beautiful, nice compliment. If you're not reacting on that, actually between the lines, you're telling to that person, if you give compliments to me, you can control me. So actually, if that's happening, you should say, I'm very pleased, I'm very happy with this kind of compliment, but I'm sure from the 7 billion people in the world that there are also other people who are like me or whatever what. So you actually are kind of blocking and saying from, yeah, whatever, but that's not 100%, right? It can be like in the office, it can be a new manager is looking at you or telling and then saying from, I never have seen someone who is so good in Excel. Or whatever what, right? So you're like the best of the best suddenly. After 5 minutes, he met you, right? So that's like a first red flag. And you should anticipate quite fast on that. And then second thing, what they're gonna do most probably is they're gonna give some kind of critic. But a very small little critic, maybe with a little laugh. Like on a dating, if it's a man, for instance, it can be that they're going to say from, your shoes are very interesting. Actually, your shoes are not so 100% fitting with your whole body. They're just going to say that like this. And the first date, to see how you react on that. If you just can stay it like it is, you're actually accepting from that person critic. And then they know, okay, if I can do that, it's only about time that I can increase this criticism. So again, there, it's about really from the beginning, really set border and say from, interesting how you see that. I really love my shoes, right? Or for me, from my point of view, I mean, interesting point of view, but from my point of view, my shoes fit perfectly to my body or whatever what, right? So that you clearly say from, hey, this is your point of view. This is not something which is in general, right? So those are like two things what most probably they're gonna see. Right?
Interesting. What else should we observe?
What else do we observe? Another thing is that they're gonna test you. Maybe maybe you're gonna say, I'm a person who really, for me, it's very important to be on time. Like let's continue with the dating, right? So you're a person, and during the first conversation, by the way, normally they're gonna ask you a lot of questions. Again, you are thinking, oh, this person is very interested in me. On one hand,
trying to understand me better.
Yes, on one hand, they are interested in you, but they are interested to get to know as much as possible, which then on a later stage, they can use or misuse against you, right? So that's why they have this interest. So it can be during the discussion, you're telling, one of my things is I really love, or for me, it's important that someone is on time. Okay. Then it can be on purpose that this narcissistic person, the next date will be late. Because they know exactly that it is a value for you, which is very important. That they're gonna, on purpose, they're gonna misuse this value. They're gonna show you that they are have another point of view with this value. Again, if you just stay that, and if you just, and then they're gonna have an excuse, of course, why they are late. If you just gonna accept that, again, you're telling them, even though I have values, if you have other values, it's fine. So again, they're gonna misuse that on purpose. It can be in a business that they're gonna say to you, you're saying from next week I'm on leave, and then just before the weekend, on purpose, they're gonna say something very important came in. Can you do it next week? Knowing that you are on leave.
Oh my God! That is so frequent, happen with my previous work scenario.
They do that on purpose.
And we were like,
because
we were like always wonder, why is it such a coincidence? We can't figure out how come it's such a coincidence, you know?
It's not. There's strategy. The cool thing about this is that they are limited in the amount of strategies. That's why I'm telling it. With a couple of strategies, and there are of course more. We go a little bit deeper that in the workshop next week. But with just a little bit of strategies, you can very easily discover them, and that's the cool thing. And once you discover them, then it becomes to the next step, what you said before. Then it's about really changing also yourself and really do things so they also gonna respect you more, and they also gonna see you differently. And that's the interesting part of it. Because on the one hand, they want to have control, and they want someone who says always yes. Okay, but on the other hand, they don't like someone who is always saying yes. So they also have this duality inside
very conflict. Yeah,
the moment that you
is happening.
The moment that you are starting saying no, in the first place, they may be gonna get angry. They may be gonna start yelling. It's a testing how far they can go. As soon as you are setting clear borders and they know your borders, they're gonna respect you more. And that's the interesting thing. Because they see that actually you stick to what is important to you.
Interesting. I'm going to hold you a little bit, Pascal. We have Sylvia, interesting story. Christina, they always keep you small. We have Lucy saying hello, Pascal and Christina. Hello, Lucy. Nice to see you here and joining us in this. Yeah, if you have any insights, please feel free to share with us as well. Yeah, so Pascal, let's come to the question part, because I believe what are the questions that we should ask to kind of find out more about a person, whether it's a narcissistic, because that same question, it can apply for us to ask ourselves to kind of like, perhaps it's a pre-check for us or cross-check for us to see whether we ourselves is narcissistic or not. So what are the questions, some of the questions that you did share with me, which are quite interesting?
Okay, so one of the things, again, is that they cannot show their emotions. They cannot show that they have weaknesses, because they learned from the past, they learned from the childhood, being weak, you lose. Being strong, you win. So they have difficulties to show emotions. I mean, it can be that they cry. I mean, it depends, again, the subtype. Yeah, a cover type can cry quite a lot, and they're gonna even mean it. It's not crocodile tears. If you're dealing with the grandiose type or malignant or something like that, most probably the tears will be even crocodile tears, because they are so numb for emotions, they will not be able to cry. Anyway, most of the time they're not showing that they have weaknesses, right? So asking them about weaknesses, they will not answer, because they cannot show. So asking everything from, what are the points you want to develop yourself further? What was the most difficult thing you've done in your life? How was it in the past? What were the things that you dealt with? They will have difficulties with it. And if you ask, like, what was the worst thing you did? It can be that they're gonna answer there was nothing, because they haven't done anything wrong, because they are perfect, right? Or it can be that they are proud of it from something which is quite bad, and then they're gonna explain it in details. And you're gonna feel that a normal person, if you would say, what is the worst thing you have done in life, then you can say, yeah, maybe when I was a kid, I pushed someone, I pushed another kid in the bushes, and now reflecting on it, I'm actually feel sorry for my own behavior. Or you're gonna put it somewhere in that perspective, right? A narcissist would say, with all colors and all kind of explanation, how proud he is that he actually pushed his kid in the bushes, and actually gonna tell that this kid deserved to be pushed because this kid actually did something to me. So again, you're gonna feel that there is no sorry at all from something which I did, which was actually bad. So either they're gonna deny that they did something bad, or they're gonna be proud of it that they did something bad. Yeah. So everything which has to do with emotions from the past, you can ask. And again, they normally they don't like other persons, right? So again, if you ask about how is your ex-manager, how is your ex-partner, if you ask this kind of questions, they also in detail gonna explain what's everything wrong with them. So normally, normal people, they're gonna say, yeah, we had a miscommunication, it did not work out. But again, like in life, we are always do why we break up or something like this, right? You're gonna not put someone completely black. You're gonna say we had another point of view. We had other targets in our life, and after years of happy marriage, we decided to we grow out of each other, and then we decided to divorce, right? A narcissist would in detail say, yeah, and this person that, and she did and that and this, and they're gonna give details which normally is so private, but they love it because again, they with that they can put someone down again. So and this kind of discussion comes most probably like the ex-manager, they're not going to be quite neutral, but they're going to explain everything what was wrong with this manager. So if you have this kind of question, if you ask this kind of questions, and then this answer goes in this direction, again, that does not mean that this person is narcissist, right? It can be that this person is still completely angry on his ex-manager, right? But if you ask all kind of questions, and each time it's like, interesting answer, then again, it is for you a possibility to say, maybe I am dealing here with a grandiose type, right? Maybe I'm dealing here with this kind of a subtype. It can help you. And otherwise, it's like asking how many friends they have, right? Because most probably a narcissist have difficulties to maintain in the working floor and privately connections. Why? Because sooner or later, they're going to try to suppress them. Sooner or later, they're going to be jealous on them. Sooner or later, they're going to say things which actually they want to feel superior. So sooner or later, most of the time, the friends, colleagues, everyone is running away. So that means that if you have a person who does not have a lot of friends, of course, if someone is living each 3 years in another country, then yeah, it can be that's the reason, right? But if like a person is living 40, 50 years in the same town and almost have no friends and isn't like an extrovert, something wrong there.
There should be a red flag there. We have a question over here. In your past experience, do you come across narcissists often? And what is the best way to work with them? And also, how can we be friends with them without us feeling small ourselves and without having to put on a facade?
Yeah.
So Pascal, what's your take on this?
Yeah. So in the working place, yes, quite often, as mentioned. Again, not everyone has a certain level, right? But yes. So in the 17 years, I had all kind of leaders. I had leaders who supported me, who put me in talent circles, who developed me, who are very for the employees. But I also had narcissistic managers, right? So I had a whole bunch of managers. So yes, you cross them. So the best way to work with them is to know what they need and to know how to deal with it. So again, because they don't want to be criticized, don't criticize them, definitely not in a big audience. Don't try to have discussions with them because they are quite manipulative. And if there are arguments, most probably they're going to win because they don't care if they start lying, if they're going to rephrase, say things, what they said completely differently, the opposite 10 minutes ago. They have no problem with that. They just want to win. So they take whatever it takes to win. So having a discussion with them, an argumentation will not lead to consensus because you get more and more emotional, and they love it. And because they are very good in manipulation, they are very good in communication on this level, most probably you're not gonna win. So the best way to do is, like always, is work on yourself, that you see them as a person like this person is. This is the first step. Again, this person is wounded. This person has a difficult childhood. This person deep in the soul wants to be loved. This person deep in the soul is searching a lot. So the moment that you're realizing that, the moment that you're seeing this person also as a beautiful soul deep inside, who has his lot of issues, the moment you do that, and the moment you're not so triggered anymore, the moment you learn how to emotionally get much more be stable and not be unstable anymore, it will be much easier to communicate. You will communicate much more from the heart, and they're going to feel it. Why? Because they're going to feel you are not at that moment a competitor anymore. You not want to have war. So you should go away from having discussions and escalations, because then you're going in the war. And a war they're going to win. Because you as an empath will not win a war because it's against all your values. So the thing is that you need to speak with the most powerful thing what has in life, love. And if you do it from the heart, if you really do it from love, you will see that they're going to react differently. Of course, you have some strategical things you can do. It's very important that they are in control. So that means that if you come with a certain, if there is like a project and you want to go in that direction, so you want that your manager agrees on a certain decision and agrees on your project. Instead of trying to push your project to them so that they sign it off, the moment you start pushing, again, they lose control. So even if they love it, they're going to say no, just for the sake of showing that they are the boss. So instead, even if they love the idea, so instead of doing that, turn it around. Show them that they are the boss and give them two possibilities. Say, I love how your competences, I love your experiences. Now, based on your experience, so start with giving some compliments. They love compliments. So give a little compliment, but again, a compliment which is reality. It has to come from the heart. Don't give a fake compliment.
Yes.
Because again, maybe as an empath, maybe you see, actually, they have a very good way of communicating. Actually, I admire how, whatever happens, they are able to win a project. They are able to win the confidence of the manager. Whatever there is, they have some positive things where you say, wow, they are actually good at that. So go a little bit there and give a little compliment in that. And then you can say, well, based on your knowledge, based on this value, what I appreciate from you, I am asking your help. From this project, what kind of a solution you would advise, A or B? And then you make, of course, sure that you go in that direction, that if you want B, then you put A like this, that A is so crap that they're going to choose B, right? So, and then, but you put it in their hands, and then they decide for you. They have their self, but they have it in control, and they decide, yeah, thank you for asking, Pascal, let's go for B. And they say, oh yeah, that's very cool decision. So, and this is actually what you wanted to have, right?
So okay, so this is one of the strategy and one of the tactic that Pascal have shared with our audience. But I'm going to go into the second question because
ahead.
Of course Pascal going to go to share more of the the strategic way of handling this in a workplace in his next week workshop, which we're going to share details about. But Pascal, I love this question because before I go into this question, I have one curious thing that is popping in my mind, and over here, we have a comment. Pascal, I love your answer with
Thank you,
hardship
Vivi.
sharing with you. Yes, from Vivian. Pascal, can I ask, right, based on your experience, being narcissistic, even we ourselves, like you have mentioned, everyone is some sort of level. We have narcissism inside us. We are a narcissistic. It just depends on the severity or the disorder or the level that which you need to do a test if you want to know more. Oftentimes do a person who has traits of narcissism, do they do it consciously or they do it unconsciously?
Okay. Let me say it that way. Yes, on a certain level, they know that what they do is not correct on a certain level. So that's like a different. If you look like a malignant narcissist, which can be very abusive, which can be very painful, there's still a difference with a psychopath, where a psychopath, even if they do, they're not gonna feel a kind of a regret on a very deep side. A narcissist will have. Nevertheless, they created strategies to protect themselves. Because again, they are so wounded that they created a virtual environment and that they see the world differently as the reality. It can be that they really are convinced that they are the best. It can be that they really are convinced that they are very beautiful compared with others, that they are very spiritual even. It can be in all directions that they think they are the best. And they program themselves, and they believe themselves, and they need that. Again, they need this whole attention for themselves. They need this whole self-worth. So they're creating some in their mind, some things where they say from, I am the best. So on one hand, they know that they do maybe some things which is not 100% correct. On the other hand, it can be that they're going to still tap on their own shoulder from, that was very good what I did. So they also have a kind of a conflict on one hand, and a wrong point of view on the other side. Now, because you said from the test, right? If you have a person with a really personality disorder, so a narcissistic personality disorder, most probably, if it's like a grandiose type or something, the chance that this person will go to a therapist, the chance that this person will take a test is quite low. Because this person is again convinced that everything is fine. That's why it's one of the hardest way also for therapists to do a therapy, because they don't see that there is an issue with them. Because again, remember with the broken finger?
Yeah.
They see this one touched my finger, this one is fault. So they always see someone else as a victim. They never see that they could work on their issues on a certain way to overcome that. Again, it's about it's a variation, right? So luckily you have persons who have some, like you said, some narcissism touches, and that they are reflecting enough to work on that. But a person with really such kind of a disorder, it's quite difficult.
It's a different story.
And it's quite unusual that they go to therapy. And if they go to therapy, it even can be that they go for another thing. Like a covered one can go for a depression. But as soon as a therapist starts to go deeper and dig deeper and finds out that actually they're dealing with a covered narcissist and want to work on that topic, they're going to block. So they're not going to allow that.
So that's where the people around them who this question comes in. How can we be friends with them without us feeling small ourselves and without having to put on a different mask or a facade per se?
Okay.
Pascal.
Okay. Yeah. One of the main things.
Yes, please go ahead. Sorry.
One of the main things is that be aware that you're dealing with such a person. Be aware that you maybe cannot change that person. Be aware that if this person is saying this, that does not mean that is the reality. So keep with yourself and trust yourself that you are worth. Yeah, that you are not worthless like this person is telling at the moment. Set also clear borders. It is very important also with friends that you set clear borders. That you really say, no, you went too far. No, I'm not going to do that. And there are strategies how to answer on certain questions. If they start throwing threats to you, if they start throwing being in the victim mode, you have certain phrases where you can answer them to actually overcome that. But it's very important that you know that you are also right. And it's also very important that you not starting to isolate yourself, that you keep having other friends who also give you a lot of self-esteem and in a way that you still know that you have some values, right? Because narcissists definitely in a partnership try to isolate you more and more, to have more and more control. And at a certain moment, you will be completely alone. And as mentioned, quite often they also gonna talk behind your back to your friends, to your family. And then at a certain moment, you think you're completely alone. So it's very important that you set borders, that you keep your network with others, that you know that you're dealing with that person, that you know that most probably you cannot change the behavior. So if you're in a partnership relationship and you're dealing with a grandiose narcissist, you have to conclude for yourself that most probably this person not gonna love you on a certain way. You have to conclude for yourself that most probably whatever you do, it will not be okay. It can always be that that person will complain. So those are the things. If you know what you can expect and what you cannot expect, it's much easier to handle that. If you set the wrong expectations, if you think from, I can change that person, now finally this person goes to therapy, now finally this person starts listening to me, that does not mean that this person is changing. That means that maybe this person is creating another strategy to, at the end, have this own me again. Right? So it's about knowing, really having clear expectations for yourself.
Understand that. And you know what, to be honest with you, Pascal, you know, when you first talk about, you wanted to share about Are You Narcissistic with our audience, I was like wondering, is there such a need to even discuss about this? I have that awareness of, I wouldn't say awareness, I have that thought that, you know, I thought this is normal. I thought having this kind of environment or meeting with people like this is normal, because I see that in myself as well. At certain level, I do have that trait of suppressing others or putting others down. You know, back then, before I heal the wounds inside me, that was one of the things. And through the conversation with you, I realized that it's also because I have once been bullied before, and that's the way I protect myself. It kind of like run in a cycle, you know, that I become one of the bully type of a narcissistic person. So I guess it's important that, you know, today we have this conversation here on Body Mind Soul live talk setting to bring this awareness out. But I one question before we end, Pascal, this live talk. You have worked in Asia, Southeast Asia before, and you have worked in the West before. Comparing the working culture of the Western and the Eastern, is narcissism something that is commonly discussed in both working culture?
I'm 100% convinced that you have it in both environments. And again, Asia is not Asia, right? If you look like, I'm not going to put it again black white. Okay, so
yes.
that does not mean that everyone from this country is like this. Okay, so but if you look like more in the Chinese point of view, there is having a lot of money, a lot of the next step, always having more and more is something which is quite part of the culture, let me say that way. So of course, in that way, you will have, if the parents did not give a lot of attention to the kids, if the parents always are saying, you need to perform, you need to perform, you need to be the best, number 2 is not good enough, you need to be number 1. If it goes in that direction, of course, you as a child, you see everyone as a competitor. So your narcissistic part will be a bit higher, of course, than in another. Yeah. You have other countries like Indonesia where it's much more from the heart. That will be a bit less, where you have some narcissistic persons, right? But I think worldwide, again, because of so many possibilities what parents are giving to you as a child, that you land in a certain way. As you mentioned before, everyone has it at a certain degree. Till a certain degree, you can definitely work on it, and you want to work on it. And some of them maybe don't want to work on it, don't see it, and then it's about us that we change ourselves so that there's a difference, right? But yeah, so for Asia, because you also looking at Singapore, for instance, there's also an unhappiness on the working floor, right? So more than 50% is actually unhappy on the working floor, and 82% will not promote the company. So we have a big worldwide, we have a big situation where a lot of unhappiness is there, where a lot of people are actually on the search, where a lot of people are not following their own heart and following their own point of view, right? So yeah, there is a lot of narcissism in the world. And again, it's sometimes on a certain way it is promoted, right? And we learn that also as a child. It is good because person who are very successful, everyone is saying this is very good and so on. And then sometimes even if the methodology that they're using to be successful, even if it's on a gray zone, we're still gonna accept and tolerate on a certain way that it's okay to do like this.
And I like how you have explained it in such a detail, as much as you can in this short 1 hour, which we overrun, but it's fine. And you know what I truly learned from today's conversation with you, Pascal, is whether or not everyone has certain level of narcissism in us. Right? It is up to our own awareness and our own willingness whether we want to improve it or we find it's nothing wrong with it. And there is nothing wrong if we still think that there is nothing wrong with us, right? We are not here to judge in neither part of whether you're empath or whether you're narcissistic. I guess this is not the conversation that we wanted to have. It's more about having that awareness and knowing the how, which you have shared with us, 1 or 2, whether in the workspace, how can we manage ourselves when we are dealing in such situation, and in a friend circle, in a partner relationship, how can we manage ourselves to deal with the situation. Again, it's more about knowing us that what we can do to make a change, you know. And if, you know, in the questions that Pascal have just thrown it out, like the question you can cross-check with a narcissistic person, and your answer is, yeah, I think this question A, I kind of yes, question 2, yes. So then you have that awareness of, are you a narcissistic or not? But I love how you sum it up, Pascal, that whether or not deep down a person is wounded, and that is why they need to have that protection wall to protect themselves from being hurt again. And if we and everyone else can see each other from the perspective of love and from the perspective of compassion, definitely we can change the situation. Whether you want to see ourselves from the perspective of love, if you, let's say for me, I already openly admit, I was shocked to find out that I am one of them, you know. But if I am to stand from the perspective of love and to look at myself again, yeah, that's where I know, oh yeah, so there are certain wounds that I need to heal. There are certain things that I need to acknowledge, I need to admit, and this take courage, you know. So for those, you know, if you want to know more about this topic, what you can do is very simple. Our admin is going to pull out the link where you can just key in your information and you will get a free 20 minutes trailer on this topic, even more about managing narcissism. And in that 20 minutes, you know, Pascal is going to give you a different type of information that we have beside, I guess some of them is something that we might have discussed here, but they are definitely more than what we have discussed in that whole 20 minutes. You're going to listen to Pascal, right, with different insights. And at the same time, I also wish to share, you know, on behalf of Pascal that, you know, he is running a online workshop, 6 skills to manage narcissism at work, so that you can set your boundaries and speak your truth at work with a lot of ease and peace. And definitely Pascal going to bring us to speaking it from the love of our heart as well. So it's happening on the next Saturday, 14th of May, 3 to 6 p.m. Singapore and Kuala Lumpur time. And of course, if you click into the same link after you register and instantly get that free 20 minutes trailer, you can also book your seats to attend Pascal's 6 skills to manage narcissism at work online workshop. Right. So Pascal, coming towards the end of this live talk, what is the last takeaway that you wish to shout out to the audience who is watching live together, or those who watch the replay?
Okay, I mean, my message is, it doesn't matter in what situation you are, you can change it, and you are in control to actually change it. And that's for me one of the most important things in life. It doesn't matter who you meet, it doesn't matter how deep you're in it, it doesn't matter if you're in the beginning of it. We are a free person, and it's up to us to change. It's up to us to grow. And of course, I'm not going to say it's always easy, right? If you're middle of in it and you're in a relationship for 20 years and you found out that actually you're dealing with the person who is completely a narcissist. But again, there, you can have some strategies from how to deal better with it, or make a decision if you really cannot stand it to go on another path, right? So you always are in charge from whatever is happening. And this is something which is beautiful. And if you believe in that, you're going to see that your life is changing quite fast.
And that is speaking of his own experience, that's for sure. So with that, I would say thank you to Pascal and thank you to all our audience who stay with us. And we hope, you know, through today's conversation, it has had impact your life positively in some way. And of course, if you wish to write to Pascal directly, you can also reach to Pascal on his LinkedIn profile. All you need to do is just search for Pascal Dricot. Did I pronounce it correctly, your last name? I hope
Yes.
I did. Yes, I did. So very good. So you can look for him on his LinkedIn profile, and that's where he's most active. And you know what? On a bonus track, Pascal shared quite a few other short videos on his LinkedIn profile as well. And this is something that he is truly passionate and hope to help more people positively as well, and to give solutions. So with that, I'll say it has been a very good afternoon, and we have Joanne over here. Great tips, just what I need. Thank you both, Joanne. I hope you can also share out this live talk to impact more people. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Thank you so much for with us. And once again, on behalf of Body, Mind, Soul, as well as all our audience, thank you, Pascal, for openly discuss this and giving us this awareness about a narcissistic or narcissism. And I learned a lot myself, and I definitely have lots of room to improve as a person per se. And I love what you have shout out to everyone, that we can make a change. You know, we can definitely make a change, and the change comes from us, and we can create it by ourselves. So with that, thank you everyone. Have a good evening and also have a great weekend. Thank you, Pascal, and have a good lunch. I believe now it's almost coming to lunch hour or brunch hour at your site. So thank you, Pascal. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.